I've never understood why I have become a big star. The only thing I know I do, which again sounds very cliche, is that I just work hard and I'm very focused and I don't look at anything else. There is no peripheral that is important to me. The parties are not important. I'm thankful for them. The posters are not important. I'm grateful for them. The media is not important, but I love them because they've been very kind to me. For me, what has happened is that one shot that I give in front of the camera, that is important. And for last 16 years...
Totally focused on
absolutely. I just love doing that. Right. I love saying, Dawn ko pakarna mushkil nahi na mumkin. I love it. I can't explain it. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41 in about a month's time, less than a month's time. But the excitement I have of giving that one punch when I'm shooting that film, getting that kick right, or saying something silly as a senorita, oh, it just turns me on. I love it. I love it. I get so excited. I become like a kid, and I just love the whole. The camera starts, and they tell me, "Look at this guy angrily." I love that angry look.
Yeah.
And I say, "Can I do it once more?" I live for that. I live for every second that I give that shot on, and I really enjoy it. Honestly speaking, I think I keep it very simple, Riz. I've always kept it very simple. So I wake up in the morning and I'm like, can I get that one shot right? Like I thought 20 years ago, that I hope I get that shot right. And I keep telling my wife, I find it strange, I'm 44 now. And I wear makeup to work.
Hey,
maybe okay.
Me too.
Yeah, so we are all the same. Yeah, but I find it that I've kept it so simple. I'm not bothered about what I'm going to do through the world of cinema for the world. No, I just want to make a film in which I am able to tell you a good story. So I think that keeping it simple and keeping it real, like everyone says, a lot of people in America keep it simple, keep it real. I think that really is the mantra, nothing else. I have a simple way that I work. I just work very hard. I hear a lot of stories, and more than the story, I just like the people who are making a film, and I say, okay, I'll do it. I think, at least in films, creatively, the secret of the success is that I just feel the goodness into it. I have no other reason. I'm not very calculating about the film that I'm doing. I'll be lying if I say I get sentimental about a film, that's why I do it. I would be lying if I say a certain topic touches me and is close to me, that's why I do it. I don't know, I just do it believing in a lot of goodness. And I say, okay, he or she believes it, looks very earnest about it. Like, I haven't signed a new film. I've had offers from some really nice filmmakers and some really nice and professional scripts. And I'm not decided. And then suddenly somebody will tell me, and that's why I do some films which go wrong also. I've never calculated what kind of film to do. And I think maybe that's why whatever the powers that be say, okay, he's doing it with a good heart, so let's just make it do well. I'm quite surprised with the kind of acumen I have for choosing scripts. I have lasted for so long, and that also. So I believe, I guess the people who, I start telling everyone, I don't choose the films choose me. So it's easier to answer a question like this. I don't choose them, they choose me. So and I just try my best to do it well, and it works. It has worked. Every year I end up having, God has been kind, every year I end up having a film which does very, very well, and for years I've been on charts with the #1 film, #2 film, #3 film, and I'm like, okay. As a matter of fact, it's now strange if I don't make a hit film every year. So I feel like, so there was not enough goodness, so I try and be better next year and try to spread that kind of goodness. And I truly believe, I tell everyone, it's a little spiritual with me now. So I just, okay, this is nice, let's just do it. And I play it very easy. I don't concentrate too much, I don't think too much, I don't believe too much, I just do it. And it turns out right.
Madness of the particularly nice or romantic kind is an absolute prerequisite to a happy and successful life. Don't ever treat your little insanities as if they're aberrations that ought to be hidden from the rest of the world. Acknowledge them and use them to define your own way of living, the only life you have. All the most beautiful people in the world, the most creative, the ones who led revolutions, who discovered and invented things, did so because they embraced their own idiosyncrasies. There's no such thing as normal. Normal is just another word for lifeless. Don't try to be someone else. You'll always find someone better, taller, cooler, handsomer, nicer, more talented, with better six packs. But please do not try to be someone else, because I think it takes away the two greatest gifts. When you try to keep up with others, it takes away the two greatest gifts life has given you. One is the freedom to fail, and the ability to say with your head held high, I don't know. So, like someone again has said, I've taken a lot of quotes this evening to be appropriate. Yeah, be yourself because everybody else is taken. It's very important to be who you are and try and achieve things on your own, go by your heart.
I know very truly I'm not a genius. I'm very clearly not gifted. And I know that the position I've reached is a position that should be given to a genius. It's not deservingly so. So the reason I'm good to fans or I believe in them is because one, I'm employed by them, so I'm like, thank you guys, you've been kind to me. So I'm returning that kindness. Or the second way to look at it is that, okay, listen, I'm really scared, don't go anywhere because I know I don't deserve it, but thank you so much. So, stick on. I'm just being, what do you say? I'm being kind to them for my own selfish gains. But whatever the case, I'm immensely grateful. I think it comes out of gratitude. It doesn't come out of any other reason. If I see on weekends I have hundreds of people outside my house. Today Sunday, a lot of people will come out in the evening, and I feel like going and meeting them all. My security with the gun says don't, but I want to meet them because I'm like I have to thank them. So I think fans are like how you feel in front of an ocean. Sometimes when you are so full of yourself, you go down on a beach and stand in front of the sea and realize how insignificant you are. And all the importance in your house, in your well upholstered rooms and your Louis Vuittons and your BMWs, and you're like, oh God, I'm so powerful. And then you go and stand in front of the sea and you realize you're such an insignificant nobody in the larger scheme of things. Fans to me are like that sea. When I see them, I realize my insignificance without them. I want to go and stand with them and say, okay, I'm insignificant, but thank you for making me so significant, for making me so special.
But 20 years ago in the movies, roles were very clearly defined. They provided the security of your stardom in a sense. If you'd been successfully playing an angry young man, you'd pretty much be angry and young for the rest of your life. If you'd been a police inspector in 3 movies, odds were you'd be in the next 33 too. This applied to female actresses also. Wives were wives, seductresses were seductresses, mother-in-laws were mother-in-laws, and so on and so forth. Few actors would have willingly switched from romantic heroes to obsessively violent lovers. I took the leap not because I was particularly brave, but because a very dear director friend of mine sat me down and told me I was extremely ugly. And being ugly necessarily meant, I know. And being ugly necessarily meant I do bad guy roles. I wasn't the romantic hero types, he said. Actually, he used the words that my face was not chocolatey enough. So I started to eat a lot of chocolate. And while waiting for it to take effect, I jumped into bad guy roles. Dar means fear in Hindi, and everyone always tells you at speeches like this that you ought to be brave, so I'm not going to bore you with that idea. Instead, let me tell you this. Being brave means being shit scared all the way to the party. Yeah, I'm sorry if that word is being very scared all the way to the party. But getting there all the same and doing the funky chicken in front of all your teenage kids' friends anyway. Let me just add on behalf of all the fathers of the world who have embarrassed their kids by doing this, it takes a lot of bravery, resolve and grit to do it. So just do it. Don't let your fears become boxes that enclose you. Open them out, feel them and turn them into the greatest courage you are capable of. I promise you, nothing will go wrong. But if you live by your fears, everything that can possibly go wrong will go wrong. And you won't even have done the funky chicken.
I like to tell everyone and people who are young or even as old as I am that you see, success is very subjective. When I decided to become an actor, my logic was, see, I'm going to give it the best shot, make a lot of people smile. Along the way, what happened is I started making too many people smile. And I realized I don't deserve this. So I don't know how long am I going to last, but my wish and desire is that at the end of my career, I don't owe this to anyone, including the audience. I'm able to say, listen, I deserved it because I gave you back enough. People say I'm King Khan, which I think is a clever journalistic alliteration. But I truly believe a king is not how much he earns, a king is not how much he takes, a king is how much he gives. I believe success has no finish line, and so I don't think I have anything.